everyone. This is Fadi, and I'd like to welcome you back to this new video series that we basically will be using to address correlation between Islam and atheism in terms of the new movement that we are noticing or reading about or hearing about concerning a lot of the young Arabs in the Middle East, and I would say young Muslims who are gravitating towards atheism. Last time we gave you an introductory background concerning why this issue is crucial and why is it important for us to address it as believers in Christ, and how can we even deal with someone who is from a Muslim background declaring themselves to be atheist. Just like last time, with me here in studio is our dear brother David Wood. David, welcome back again. Now, last time we gave an introduction about, reasons.
I feel like I'm supposed to do some of this sort of bow, anyway.
We welcome you, brother. Thank you so much for you being here. We should be doing that to you. So last time we gave some ideas about why, Muslims end up calling themselves atheist, causes behind that, percentages, of what we're witnessing. But today we're going to talk really about this connection between God, atheism, and the meaning of life, technically speaking. You said something that was amazing the other day to me, that for a Muslim, just to leave Islam and call themselves atheist, it's almost like a radical change in their worldview. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think people are jumping into things a little too quickly without exploring the implications of this. I mean, on the one hand, it's really cool that people are leaving Islam. I'm sure you remember a time when there weren't a lot of people who were acknowledging that they had left Islam.
That's right.
I mean, I just remember when Nabil was getting started out, it was rare to hear from ex-Muslims. There were ex-Muslims, but they weren't very vocal about it. So Nabil's going around, there's very few, whereas now they're everywhere. They're all over the place. But a lot of ex-Muslims are identifying as atheists, and when you talk to them, when you have discussions with them, it becomes very clear that the vast majority of them have not really seriously studied any alternative to Islam. They just rejected Islam and they jumped on board the atheist train without examining any other alternative to see whether some other alternative is true or whether there should be concerns about atheism itself, whether they have good grounds for atheism. And so right now we wanted to kind of explore one of the implications of atheism, which is that between Islam and Christianity on the one hand, and something like atheism, it's a pretty radical change as far as something basic like the meaning of life, right? And you can sort of jump into atheism without thinking about the implications of how this would affect something very simple like the meaning of life. Now, obviously, a person who is an atheist can have meaning in life in terms of things they want to do and accomplish and the people they're impacting, but the kinds of meaning that are available to them are very different from the kinds of meaning available on a theistic perspective. In other words, what I'm saying here is if we wanted to do a little analogy, if you're a vegan, you still eat, but the kinds of food available to you are very different from someone who's not a vegan. Well, similarly, if you're an atheist, there are only a few places to go. If you're talking about morality or meaning, your resources are now pretty limited compared to someone with a theistic view.
That's right. That's right. And before I jump into the meaning of life, I just want to emphasize something. The Bible actually talks to us with a clear indication that there is a meaning behind life. For instance, Jesus in Matthew 6:33 said, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." What are these things? Possessions, maybe marriage, maybe family. So it appears that the Bible is alluding that there should be a meaning. In fact, even at the garden, there was this creation mandate: be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. So there is a meaning of life, but you have to do it within the right, basically, parameters. And that's basically the focus of the Bible. Now, if we look at some of these questions that we call them the questions concerning the meaning of life, questions like, what am I? What's my purpose? How did I get here? Where am I going? What am I worth? And what's the point? These are the kind of questions that we would like to address here. So let's start with the first question, David. What am I?
Yeah, and so all of these questions are basically going to draw attention to the different way atheism would answer the question versus the way theism would answer the question. And so the question, what am I? Well, what am I according to a theistic framework like Christianity versus what am I according to something like atheism? And don't want to be accused of misrepresenting the atheist position here, so we'll go ahead and let some atheists answer. So let's check out a quotation from Richard Dawkins, who says, he's explaining what we are according to his worldview. Richard Dawkins, one of the most popular, if not the most popular atheists in the world. And he says, we are machines built by DNA whose purpose is to make more copies of the same DNA. This is exactly what we are for. We are machines for propagating DNA, and the propagation of DNA is a self-sustaining process. It is every living object's sole reason for living. It is every living object's sole reason for living. So if Richard Dawkins is answering the question, what am I according to atheism? Well, I'm a machine, right? I have my genes, and basically I am one big fancy machine for passing on that genetic information, right? So this big fancy machine basically helps me find food better. It helps me find a mate to pass on that genetic information. And so he states very clearly, what am I according to his according to his worldview? I'm a machine for making more copies of DNA. So I just wanted the reason I wanted to quote him is I would say that's exactly what you are according to atheism. But if I say it, they'll say I'm attacking their position and so on. This is their champion saying it. Another very popular atheist is Bill Nye, the science guy, who for years just did science shows and stuff like that, but then became much more vocal in defending and promoting atheism. So let's check out the Bill Nye quote, and this is him saying that he, as a teenager, came to realize how insignificant he is. And this is interesting because this is the exact same thing I realized when I was a teenager in almost the same words. So I'm guessing that lots of young people who become atheists think along these lines. So he says, I remember thinking, I am just another speck of sand, and the earth, really, in the cosmic scheme of things, is another speck, and the sun, an unremarkable star. Nothing special about the sun. The sun is another speck, and the galaxy is a speck. I'm a speck on a speck, orbiting a speck, among other specks, among still other specks, in the middle of specklessness. I suck. But with our brains, we can understand our place in the universe, and that does not suck. All right, so
with all due respect.
Yeah, with all due respect. But think about what this guy is saying, right? He's just saying, again, this is exactly what I thought. When I was an atheist, I basically thought, okay, here's the universe, and our galaxy is this tiny little speck. And then our star is an even more insignificant, smaller speck than our galaxy. And then our planet is just this little pathetic, insignificant rock circling that. And human beings are just these little blobs of cells on that rock. What are we? We're nothing. We're nothing compared to, we're nothing, right? And so he's saying he acknowledges that, but he adds the caveat that, well, but we with our brains can understand our place in the universe, and that doesn't suck. And here I don't know what you mean. You're using your brain to realize you're just this pathetic speck,
exactly.
And you're saying that's
Who
more
gave
important.
you that brain, right?
Well, no. I'm saying like the animals don't recognize that they're these insignificant little specks. He's saying because I have a brain, I recognize that I'm this completely pathetic, insignificant little speck. And that's cool that I can recognize that. I'm thinking, why? That just makes you worse off, right? I mean,
that's right.
If you don't know how bad you've got it, then, are you really, are you worse off or better off? So anyway, point is, these are atheists acknowledging what are we in the sort of grand scheme of things. Well, Bill Nye, I'm a speck on a speck on a speck on a speck on the middle of specklessness. I suck. That's him. That's his words as an atheist. Dawkins, we're machines for propagating DNA. You can compare that to what we are on something like Christian theism, where we're created in the image of God. Right. We're not machines for propagating DNA. It's very strange to say that a machine for propagating DNA has any intrinsic goodness or inherent rights. I have a machine that turns bread into toast. No one would care if I smashed that thing to pieces, right? Well, it's a machine. It's a machine for serving a purpose and so on. So anyway, so you get a very different picture of what we are, depending on whether you look at atheism or theism. Atheism, we're a speck or we're a machine or something like that. Theism, we're created in the image of God, and I would say that does not suck.
And just to let you know, we still have more questions, and I'm thinking really this will be multi-part anyway, because we want to do the right thing, and not eat up any important information and quotes like you're saying. But I want to close by asking just this quick question. Richard Dawkins, quotation is kind of interesting. I get it that he's thinking that we're just a machine passing on DNA, but what is the purpose? There has to be a purpose. Now, you go to the Bible, let us make man in our image, our likeness, and then there's a mandate given to them: be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. So God is really blessing. It says, and God blessed them and gave them the mandate. So there is a purpose, fruitfulness. But all of it is based on what? God's image, representing God. Being relational. So it seemed like there is bits and pieces of scriptural truth, but it's misapplied, basically. Yeah,
and if you think about it, so that second question, that what's my purpose? He's already answered it, right? In saying what I am, I'm a machine for propagating DNA. Now we have his purpose according to atheism. According to Richard Dawkins, my purpose is I'm a representative of a molecule, right? It's the molecule. It's the molecule. So deoxyribonucleic acid. It's the molecule that codes instructions for us, for the machine that then goes out to make copies of it, right? So what is my purpose? I am here to make more copies of that molecule. I'm here to help that molecule make more copies of itself. That's what I am according to Richard Dawkins, whereas compared to Christianity, notice the difference, right? According to Christianity, I'm a representative of God, right?
Amen.
I'm the image of God, and I'm here as a representative of God. So think about this. Just think about this, because it's massive. You can't be farther apart than saying, one, I'm here as a representative of a molecule to carry out the dictates of this molecule, versus I'm here as a representative of God to carry out the will of God.
Amen.
It's completely different, right? One is reducing me to some little servant of some little insignificant, mindless thing, and the other is
God
declaring that the God of the universe
Amen.
has sent me.
You can see the theme here between Nye and also Richard Dawkins is like reducing us below, like speck of.
They're degrading. They're degrading. Yeah,
exactly.
And this is why. As we go through these questions and the issue of morality in this series, atheists clearly just have not thought about the implications. They want to complain, Muhammad did this, and Muhammad did that. That's immoral. According to your worldview, we're meaningless specks and we're machines for propagating DNA. Where are you getting these ideas that it's wrong and immoral to go out and wage jihad? Where are you getting the idea that you shouldn't kill apostates? Why shouldn't a machine for propagating DNA kill another machine for propagating DNA? Who cares what one speck does to another, right? The kind of thing that we'll keep having to come back to is Muslims who are becoming atheists, they adopt a worldview, but they're living completely inconsistently with that worldview. In other words, they're not really living like atheists. If you're really living like an atheist, yeah, I don't see how you'd even seriously complain about Muhammad.
That's right. Well, brother, when we come back, I think we will start with the next question, which is, what's my purpose? And we'll see.
No, we went through what's my purpose, so we talked about the purpose. So.
How did I get here,
Yeah.
basically? So that will be the starting point for us next time. If we can finish all of them, great. If not, I mean, that's okay. We need just to make sure people are grasping basically these powerful arguments. So hopefully, if you're watching this series that deals with Islam and atheism, I should say, you're enjoying it, and I hope that you will benefit from it in your own basically ministry in general. Of course, if you're dealing with atheists, although we're not focusing it heavily and 100% just on all arguments related to that, but specifically to some of the young Muslims that you are guaranteed going to hear from them that they have decided to leave Islam or don't believe in God or calling themselves atheists, as I encountered one of them one time from Saudi Arabia, out of all places, and by the grace of God, he's a believer today. But nevertheless, this is a trend that you will come across. Thank you again, brother, and thank you for watching. Until we meet again, have a blessed day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We can't make these quality videos without the help of partners like you. So please consider becoming a Patreon supporter today at patreon.com/CIRA International. I want to make sure you always get notified when we release a new video. So please click the bell to be notified, and of course, make sure to subscribe to this channel. If this video was helpful to you, please click the thumbs up. Thank you.